You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off!
Well, I did just say the time of the zombie might be over. So if you're tired of zombies, or the ridden, or the infected, or those blessed by Papa Nurgle, then Redfall might quench your thirst.
See, I did say that.
And just as I got my review code for Jedi Survivor, my review copy of Dead Island 2 came in, and just after that, Redfall came along. And while everyone else has given their thoughts on Dead Island 2, I thought, well, maybe I should too.
Why now? Why not 20 years ago?
Dead Island 2 has been out for some time, and the general thoughts on the game are, well, it's alright. It's a bit of in the same field as Redfall, in that some people didn't like it and some people really enjoy it. And while I've heard both sides of the fence, I again find myself sitting in the middle with, it's fine. Dead Island 2 takes place in Hollywood, not the fake Hollywood like Los Santos, but actual Hollywood, and the city has been taken over by the zombie hordes.
Don't say that. What? That. What? That. The Z word. Don't say it. Why not? Because it's ridiculous.
The title starts off with us picking one of a group of survivors who are on the last plane out of LA before, well, a zombie is on board, it crashes back down. Now, we pick a character and we're off to, find survivors and escape.
It's pretty standard, really.
Now, backstory, as a kid I played the original Dead Island, and personally that title wasn't really for me. I understand why people love it, I understand why people didn't like it, and if you like Dead Island 1 then it's a safe bet to say you'll enjoy Dead Island 2. There are breakable weapons, small areas that work as little sandboxes rather than a large open world, a great variety of locations, whether it's inside a dark car park creating some great atmospheric horror, or beautiful open environments with great lighting. Gameplay wise though, it's pretty rinse and repeat. After about 4 to 5 hours of gameplay, it feels like you've played the entire game. Now, while not based on an island this time around, which makes me think, why is it called Dead Island 2 and not Dead Land? But anyways, the world is what makes this game a bit more engaging. Now, you can go through famous landmarks and rich Beverly Hill manors, and it's kinda refreshing and a bit of fun.
Hey, here's the big BS. It ain't Bob Marley.
Now, the wicked feature, if you will, is what Dead Island 2 has in regards to the damage that zombies take. If you smash them with hammers, you'll notice that you'll actually smash off their jaw, and in real time as well, and it's kind of impressive. If you kick a zombie into an acid pool or you use an acid weapon, you'll see the flesh rot off their body, which is horrifyingly awesome. It's a great piece of detail that honestly is a really damn good selling point for Dead Island 2, and it's entertaining and it's great playing with mates, especially when they notice this mechanic for the first time. Speaking of which, Dead Island 2 can be played co-op, and for me it's kinda the only way to play for two reasons. One, if you're playing with mates, it is hilarious to see them dash in with overpowered weapons, or to just drop kick a zombie out of nowhere. But secondly, Dead Island 2 can be quite challenging, and it is a welcome addition for some players, but it can be a turn-off for others, like people who wear Crocs, and I'm yet to meet someone who actually enjoys wearing those things. Anyways, yes, the gameplay might not be what you're expecting if you've not played anything like this before. Sort of imagine, if you will, the zombies in the Resident Evil series, especially the RE2 remake, in that they're spongy, taking multiple shots to the head from firearms or whacked with weapons to take them down. And for some, I can see why it's not their jam. Especially the idea of using a pistol for a headshot to a zombie seems really satisfying in some films and some games. Now, bullets take multiple rounds to take out zombies. Sharp weapons like machetes also take multiple swings to take out a zombie, and for me, it's a bit too spongy for my liking. Your survivor is also immune to zombie bites in Dead Island 2, whichever survivor you pick, they're all sort of the same in that regards, and they'll be able to level up with perks and abilities. Now, some of these might be learning how to, say, block attacks or quickly dodge, or instead of doing a full-on drop kick where you'll be knocked to your ass after you've hit the ground, you'll do a single head kick. What's kinda cool too, at least, is something I really enjoyed in the first-person shooters, is that you can see in this game when you look down, you can see their feet. I don't know why, but I really enjoy it when shooters do this. That and your character talks and interacts with NPCs, and they're proper, sort of funny characters in some instances. Now I picked the character Danny, who's the Irish punk rocker, and having a few Irish mates myself, and when I heard some of her phrases and sayings, it felt like I was hanging out with them.
Danny. You right, boy? You got blood coming out your ears like...
But on the other side of that coin, the NPCs in the game and their voice acting or their characters, some of them can be a bit unbearable, I won't lie. And I did skip some cutscenes when characters really started to actually grind my gears a bit.
You stop standing there and find me some fucking shoes!
But the thing to note is Dead Island 2 can be quite hard when you're playing solo. There are multiple points in the game where I simply just got stuck dying over and over again.
What the hell was that?
Even during the first introductory moments of the game, which is say roughly about the first 20 minutes or so, I died. Now, it's not a complaint, but it is a thing to note that you can't just run in and immediately slay zombies. While they look dead and they've got rotting bodies and all that sort of stuff, they're as tough as an adult playing Mario Kart against kids in some instances. So if you're playing solo, you may very well be challenged here because there's no way to also change the game's difficulty as well. But playing solo too in some instances can make Dead Island 2 more of a horror game compared to say playing in co-op. What I mean by that is when you play horror games with friends, you'll be talking shit, you'll be having a laugh, and it will lower the overall tone of horror, at least it did for me. But when I played solo, similar to something like say Resident Evil or Dead Space, I was horrified, especially at night time, to turn around to see a hulking brute zombie charging towards me with a heap of generic zombies along with him. But how is Dead Island 2? Well, it's a personal preference really. I can see some people really enjoying this, but I also know some friends who overly won't enjoy Dead Island 2 at all. It is a fantastic looking game. The gore aspect is great and constantly had me reacting to how some zombies would fall apart, and the weapons and gunplay are fine. Melee weapons feel a bit more brutal and impactful, especially if you're using blunt force weapons, and guns feel a bit but they're still serviceable. It is hard looking at this year's previous releases like Hogwarts, Jedi Survivor, Dead Space, Resident Evil 4, all of which have been fantastic. And Dead Island 2 was definitely a hyped release as well, and I think it's just fine. It's like Redfall to me. Is it the greatest thing? No. Is it the worst? No. But not every game needs to be the next Zelda, which that's a conversation for another time. But Dead Island 2 has been out for a little while now, and if you're a zombie fan and you're looking to play some game with some mates and have a good laugh, then yeah, I'd say check out Dead Island 2. But whether you've been slaying zombies since the original Dead Island 2, or you've just started up with Back 4 Blood a couple of years ago, always remember to play with each other and play with yourself.